Some of these things I just can't fucking stand. This is really just an impromptu video inspired by a couple of things that I've seen as I'm running some errands this afternoon. So I thought I'd just put some thoughts together. There are several things, maybe at least four, about modern vehicles that I just cannot stand. Number one, well, it seems like auto manufacturers are in a race or in a competition to see who can make the craziest, wildest, most futuristic vehicle out there. It's unnecessary and disgusting, to be quite honest with you, but we've seen this through the years in a number of different worlds as well. Thinking about architecture and interior design during the space age, the space race of the 50s and 60s, right? With homes and buildings and automobiles and interior design features like lamps and things like that, taking on this sort of spaceship, UFO sort of feel. There are certain design elements and body lines and flow of vehicles that are universal and classic and everlasting, right? But some of these more modern, futuristic style vehicles that these manufacturers are coming up with are just disgusting. We've seen it over the last 10 years or so. I don't understand it, this fascination with determining what future vehicles should look like. It's just weird. Sticking sort of with this futuristic element, the other thing I'll point out, number two on the list, is technology. Now, I'm all for technology and I like to see the advancements. And I've said this before in previous videos, I'm more of a simplistic kind of guy. I don't need all the bells and whistles in my vehicle. But that being said, I think there's a place for it. However, the issue that I have with it is that we're always trying to put and implement all these kind of crazy things and make the vehicles do different things. And it's like they're big computers now, right? That's essentially what they are. The problem I have is that manufacturers can't even get their vehicles to be reliable for more than a few years or, 50, 60,000 miles. We're spending $50,000 in some of these just regular vehicles and basic features these days. And the fact that the car doesn't even run right, but we're all concerned about all these fancy bells and whistles that they can put into them. Where are the priorities? Ass massagers and hand warmers and cars that'll talk to you and cars that'll drive for you. Speakers that pump the engine noise into the cabin so you can hear it. So stupid. How about you just make the car sound good? For crying out loud, let's get the thing to run properly first before we worry about all this crazy shit. Not to mention the fact that all of these big screens that they add into these cars look like a bunch of afterthoughts. Like they took some double-sided tape and stuck an iPad to the dash. I gotta say, the more I talk about these things, the more and more things come to mind. But I'm gonna just stick with these four. But leave me a comment down in the comment section below. Let me know what bothers you about modern day vehicles. Or maybe you just love them. I know a lot of these updates are the result of society in general, and what we think of now as creature comforts and what people desire and think they need out of convenience and out of comfort. I'm looking for a driver's car, a car to experience, one that I can hear, one that I can feel and be a part of. I don't like to be insulated from the road. There's a lot of enthusiasts and purists like me out there that desire the same thing, but the way the modern day vehicle is going, all those things are going away. They don't produce driver's cars or a special line of driver's car just for us. Even the cars that we think of as driver's cars, sports inspired, track inspired vehicles, they're getting all these same modern creature comforts. They're becoming more heavy, they're becoming more cumbersome, more robust and obnoxious, but I digress. We're getting very, very close to announcing the giveaway as well, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you haven't already. Number three is just quality overall. This is something we've seen across the board and just products in general that we buy here in the United States, because they're all coming from other locations, but it seems like material quality and material selection for vehicles is just going down the drain. We've seen this for a long time, but specifically over the last 5 years or so, it seems like we're using more and more plastic pieces, more and more aluminum pieces, which generally just don't withstand the test of time. Seems like they really have a quantity over quality mindset and just highest profit margin possible. So we sacrifice a little bit of quality in certain areas, and they hope that it doesn't lead to a failure, at least within the warranty period, of course. I'm sure you can name a few less than quality components that are, put into Nissan and Infiniti cars. Roof rails on the Ford Explorer, for example, are known to fly off. That's a factory recall. Plastic pieces in Jeep suspension components, just garbage. It's not just one manufacturer. It's across the board. Companies are just using cheaper parts, and it's unfortunate. Number 4 is one that really drives me crazy, and this is actually what sparked this video this morning. Driving behind a vehicle, I see in the tailpipe there are cutouts and chrome surrounds that are supposed to look like exhaust tips, but of course they're not. They're just cutouts, and then there's a small little piece of pipe sticking through. That's not even the bad one. At least it's actually an outlet for the exhaust. What drives me crazy is seeing some of the rear bumpers on some of these modern vehicles that are just meant to look like exhaust tips, but they're just recessed plastic. They're not even an opening. There's no exhaust tips that come to that point in the rear bumper. It's just meant to look like it. There's some, that are even just reflectors or taillights in the bumper, but have that chrome bezel to make it look like an exhaust tip. It's so dumb. It brings everything back to sort of this modern, futuristic look in the vehicles. They want to progress and move forward with their automotive design characteristics. However, they try to retain some of the parts that look cool, like louvers, fenders and hood vents, tailpipes, exhaust tips, for example. They add these elements into the cars because they look cool and they know that people like to see them, but they don't actually want to use them as a functioning piece to the puzzle. They just throw them on there because they look good and they know that they'll grab the attention of people, or they'll keep people's, they'll keep the aesthetic of the vehicle pleasing to the eye, but they're not actually functional. That drives me nuts. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think, or what drives you crazy about modern day vehicles. I'm curious to have your input. These are just a few of the things that came to mind today as I was driving behind actually a new Acura MDX, and I was like, what the? So stupid. The exhaust tips aren't even real exhaust tips. Nonetheless, those are my 4 big bugaboos right now for modern day vehicles, but let me know in the comment section below what you think. Thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate the continued support. By the time you see this, I probably will have returned from my first vacation in 5 years, so stick around for that video coming up. Thank you very much for watching, guys. As always, I appreciate it very much. We'll see you in the next one.